Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
So I'm back again with Micheal Dixon, my dear friend. If you missed the previous one, which it looks like many of you didn't, and we were getting so much wonderful feedback, so we're really excited to be reading together again.
Yeah.
Micheal has suggested, because he's reading in the 11th canto, that we go through the 11th canto a little bit, and specifically chapter 28. So we're going to start today with 11:28:1. So 11th canto, chapter 28:1. Now when Bob and I read, we're going to continue systematically. But just because this is where he's reading, and this is still Bhagavatam Bites, and so we're going to read through and discuss as we go along.
Yeah, and we could continue this again at another time as well on this, or however we want to do it. Why did I pick, you might ask for yourself, why did I pick chapter 28? Well, I'm approaching 80 years old, and it's I've been reading the Bhagavatam for the last 3 years.
At least 3.
Yeah. When I went to the temple in Washington D.C. and we picked up the whole thing. I was having problems getting the bits and pieces of the cantos at the beginning on eBay, and so once I got going with the full canto and or the full set of 18, then it flowed a little easier. But again, I can't remember. I mean, if you go through this now, it's like reading the encyclopedia. It's transcendental knowledge, and it's an encyclopedia. Nobody can. It takes. Jai has probably read it 2 or 3 times, or even more than that. Well, and as a devotee, and he's knowledgeable because he's absorbed it. He's also 30 years younger than I am. So everything it goes in this ear and comes out that ear. What I'm reading.
It goes in his ear and straight into his heart, and then comes out of his mouth, as you can hear.
Back to what the original question was: why chapter 28? So I suggest if anybody's even thinking about this, reading this Bhagavatam, to start, just go to chapter 28 on Canto 11. Do not start and do not read everything around it. You have to pretty much. They recommend that you start at the beginning and you go through slowly, systematically, and that way it's easier to absorb. But what chapter 28 is, it's a microcosm of the what we call transcendental knowledge. It's everything that's compacted into one chapter that is really speaks to the life on earth as it was then and as it is today, and it's just loaded with really good thoughts. So I want to just go one text or one verse at a time, and we can't do it all today because I think there's 30 or 40 verses. But if we concentrate on just one, it's going to be interesting, informative, and fun. It's fun for you to hear how a country bumpkin like me got involved with a spiritual master of transcendental knowledge. So I'm starting on text here. Here it is.
Should we do the invocation?
Yes.
We'll just do that first.
Okay. Yeah.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna said, one should neither praise nor criticize the conditioned nature and activities of other persons. Rather, one should see this world as simply the combination of material nature and enjoying souls, all based on the one absolute truth. And Prabhupada then has the purport, says, material situations and activities appear to be good, passionate, or ignorant, according to the interaction of the modes of nature. These modes are produced by the illusory potency of the Lord, which is itself not different from its master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So a devotee of the Lord remains aloof from the illusory, temporary manifestations of material nature. At the same time, he accepts material nature as the potency of the Lord and thus essentially real. The example may be given that modeling clay is shaped by a child into various playful forms, such as tigers, men, or houses. The modeling clay is real, whereas the temporary shapes it assumes are illusory, not being actual tigers, men, or houses. Similarly, the entire cosmic manifestation is modeling clay in the hands of the Supreme Lord, who acts through Maya, or illusion, to shape the glaring temporary forms of illusion, which absorb the minds of those who are not devotees of the Supreme Personality of God. So what it's saying, basically, is that we should not judge other people accordingly. We should be aware of other people's faults, not faults, but their
challenges.
And their environment and who they are in this world, where they're born, what their parents are like, the whole conditioning, the whole conditioning, because we are conditioning people. And I can speak from experience that I have faults with that, as I think a lot of us do. Judging people on first sight, that's I could go on for another hour of the goofs I've made on doing that. One specific time on a golf course where this guy we were playing golf and we were two, and we had people in front of us, and they were all backed up from all the way. And I'm not a big golfer; I just go occasionally. But the guy I was with, he was real impatient. And Mike Grove, it was a friend of mine, good friend of mine, and we kept saying, "What's wrong with this guy? Why doesn't he get on and hit the ball, for crying out loud?" And it turned out there was in front of him about two more people, not couples, but two more teams in front of him were teaching a 16-year-old how to play golf for the first time. And that's a big no-no. I mean, they slowed down everybody, and so we only got to see the person in front. So I went up to this guy, and he was a big burly guy, mustache and beard and everything. He looked like he was right out of the hills of West Virginia. Sorry, West Virginia. I'm sorry.
No offense to
West Virginia. And it turns out he was a doctor over in Winchester. A real nice, wonderful guy, and his wife teaches at Boonesboro High School, she had gone she was the one who took him to the state tournaments in debate and won for about the last 2 or 3 years. So she was, these people were
educated,
and they were really good people, And here I had this guy, I was ready to
not that people from West Virginia with beards and big and burly are not good people.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what I learned. You have to be real flexible. That's what they told us in the Peace Corps. You have to be flexible. And so, the older you get, the more you take on that baggage, I guess. It's easy to do. It's easy to judge people by different things. So that's what hits me when I read this. I'm reflecting on myself, and I have to work on it.
So I think all of us, and you can raise your hands out there. All of us have to work on this.
Yeah.
What is there's a saying? Never judge a book by its cover, kind of thing. So we have to be
here, and then it goes on to say, whoever indulges in praising or criticizing the qualities and behavior of others will quickly become deviated from his own best interest by his entanglement in illusory dualities.
Well,
that means you're just creating a lot of bad karma for yourself by doing that.
Yeah, a lot of opposition in the future, obstacles.
So and then on the opposite extreme, we have this couple in town that moved in about 6 years ago, and they're going to love this because I know they watch this. And this is Lee and Suzanne. I'll just give their name. Wonderful people. They walk through town every once in a while. It's not a big town. It's just a one little village. Let's call it more of a village. And they speak to anybody they see. They go over and say, "Hey, how are you doing?" And what's going on.
Super friendly.
And they are just
outgoing.
they're the spokespeople for the village. They really are, and never judgmental, never anything. And sometimes they come up to me and I said, "Oh, well, what's he doing?" And they no, he does it good. They are that. So they have opposite extremes, opposite extremes. I try to be outgoing and speak to people I don't know. I love to speak to people I don't know, and just out of curiosity and be friendly, and that's gone a long way in living here in Brownsville. I've got a tremendous amount of good friends that I've known for years, like my friend Bob Ketzel and Pete Higdon, and who passed away 2 months ago, and just like every place else, it is a microcosm of this country, living here. It's an adventure, that's for sure, a spiritual adventure. Well,
one thing, can I mention one thing that stood out to me was this analogy that's given here of the modeling clay, and how the material energy, the modes are produced by the illusory potency of the Lord, which is itself not different from its master, which means the Lord's energy, just like in Bhagavad Gita, Daiviyesha Gunamayi Mamamaya Duratyaya, that Krishna says that this divine energy of mine, Mama Maya, my illusion, is very difficult to overcome because it's composed like ropes of the three modes of material nature. So the illusory energy is his potency, but at the same time he accepts material nature as the potency of the Lord, and thus essentially real. So the illusory energy is real. Now this is often difficult for us to grasp, and as Prabhupada mentions, the Mayavadis, their idea is that the illusory energy, it's all illusion.
It's all illusion.
Your illusion, your body's illusion, I'm illusion, this is all an illusion. Everything's just an illusion.
We're here temporarily.
It's not just the temporary thing. They go beyond that. It's permanently an illusion, and actually we're just in forgetfulness of our eternal mergence as being the Supreme ourselves.
Right.
So but Prabhupada kind of criticizes that a lot and explains how could the Supreme forget he's the Supreme. So we've divided into little Supremes who've all forgotten. But anyway, that's a different thing. But they understand that it's not real at all, it's illusion. But what Srila Prabhupada is putting across, and what Shukadev Goswami, the speaker of the Bhagavatam, is putting across, is that it's illusory, but it's still real.
Right. It's still real.
It's still the energy of the Lord.
Right.
So you can't say it's not the energy of the Lord, because everything comes from the Lord. Right. And this example of the modeling clay. The modeling clay is real, whereas the temporary shapes it assumes are illusory. So with the clay you can make, he says, tigers and houses and men. So with the modeling clay you can make these forms. The clay is real. The forms are illusory.
Right.
Because they're not real animals.
He does the same thing with gold. Remember that there's a part there where he does gold. And gold comes out and it's just it has no value really. I mean, who wants a piece of gold sitting around? But then there's so many beautiful things that are made out of it. So it starts out as gold, as just a rock, and then it's made in these beautiful things, and then eventually they will get lost, or they'll pass, and they'll go back to where they were when they were starting. So it's kind of like ourselves.
Okay, yeah. So in that way, these bodies, we're just made from the illusory energy. These things are illusion in the sense that they're all going to, ashes to ashes.
We're
and dust
part and parcel of this world. I think everything is in accordance to what the world is like. With we have our liquids in our bodies. Those are the oceans. We have the electricity in our that beats our heart. And that I can't quite understand. Water and electricity usually don't go together, but that's considered the fire. And then we have the air So the clouds and the sky that we breathe in, those are the three things that the world gives us, and that's
And earth is the bones and the
yes,
minerals
yeah,
and
the
everything.
minerals of our body.
Yeah.
The earth is that, yeah. So we are many worlds in really in a way. That's what we
We're
are.
all these,
We
again-
cannot exist in the vacuum of space. We cannot exist in another world that doesn't have what we have here. We could, you can go to Mars and everything. You couldn't go to Venus because you'll burn up in Venus. But in Mars, you could go there for a certain amount of time, and yeah, you could, but you couldn't go outside and play basketball and do not environment. So every world has its. But that means, to me, that brings in another discussion we'll have in the future. Yeah, those worlds might harbor life, but it won't be anything like what we.
Well, yeah. I mean,
we
Srila
have here on
Prabhupada
life.
speaks about this a lot,
Yeah.
but we can see it even on our planet. We don't need
That's
to go
right.
to another planet.
That's right.
In the sea,
In the sea,
we can't live in the sea, but there's unlimited life forms there. Now,
Mm-hmm.
they're different, but they function around the same sort of principles.
Exactly.
And even you go very deep in the sea where they declared for so many years nothing could live. There's unlimited life forms there. In fire, for ages, they said they used fire as a purifier. So you sterilize things with fire. But then they later found that there are even microbes that live inside of fire.
Yeah.
So Srila Prabhupada will also often say that all these other planets, we say there's no life, but Prabhupada, and because the Bhagavatam, the Shastra says, there is life everywhere. So he says even on the sun, there is life. But as you were saying, their bodily forms are different because they're created to suit the environment. But life comes from life, and there is life everywhere. You
Right.
turn over any rock, any stone, you think,
It's
what could live under there?
Yeah.
Unlimited bugs
Gotcha.
come out.
So I often think, and I call it dimensions. We live in different dimensions,
Okay.
and the one dimension does not know the other dimensions there. Maybe we by being closest to the Godhead, human has the capacity. Let's put that. We have the capacity to have that knowledge. And if you ever talk to anybody that's traveled all over the world, they seem to be that way. I've always noticed that people who travel a lot and everything, it's they have capacity, and it's called awareness as well.
Yes.
But the dimensions are there, and in the case of the world, the birds don't speak with the fish. We don't speak with the birds. But yet. If you're a bird watcher, or if you love to go fishing or be with the fish, you can view them. Or if you're in a zoo, and you can see all these different animals, but there's no communication. That's obvious because they're still living in a dimension. Actually, that's they're not really in their true dimension. They're in jail, as far as I'm concerned. They're in prison. But it's so that we can view them. It's more of a selfish thing that we do. But I mean, it's just the fact that it's the way of life on this world, and I think in the universe as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in one sense, everyone's in a jail.
Yeah.
We're all in prison here. You come and you get your uniform, whatever uniform that is, and you're basically here.
Yeah.
The only difference, because this world is also known as Durga, or fort.
Yeah.
It's like a fortress.
Yeah.
But it's like the prison, but it's the best prison. Why? Because normally if you go to any other prison, people want to get out. They want to escape.
Yes.
But this prison, nobody wants to escape.
No.
Everyone's just desperately trying to stay here and enjoy as much as they can.
Yeah.
The only people who want to get out are those who actually become aware. Or become enlightened or knowledge like that. Should we try to read another one? See if we can get another verse.
Okay, get one more in. Okay.
I think according to that clock, we should still be good.
Number 3.
Two, I think.
No, I think I've covered 2 already. Yeah. Whoever indulges in praising, criticizing the for the best interest. Well, I'll do that.
I see. Okay, you read that. Yes. I remember you read that.
We'll be entangled in illusory dualities.
Okay, so you want to go to 3?
Yeah. Just as the embodied spirit soul loses external consciousness when his senses are overcome by the illusion of dreaming or the death-like state of deep sleep, so a person experiencing material duality must encounter illusion and death. You want to comment on that?
Yeah, I guess if you read through it, and what I often find with reading is that it's valuable sometimes to slow it down and read and think about each few words and put it in. So just as the embodied spirit soul, so that's us, we're embodied, we're a soul inside of the body, loses external consciousness when his senses are overcome by the illusion of dreaming or the death-like state of deep sleep. So just like we lose external consciousness when we go to sleep and start dreaming, or you go into very, very deep sleep, so in the same way, a person experiencing material duality must encounter illusion and death. So basically what it's saying is that one who is experiencing duality, living in this world thinking that it's real, and thinking that, oh, this is good, that's bad, I'm happy, I'm sad, he's nice, that's not, the duality is hot, cold, victory, defeat, all of these things, living in this world of duality, then that person is naturally going to experience illusion and death. So we have to we have to move beyond the dualities and understand that all of it is like the yin and the yang, the black and the white. There's a little bit of black in the white and a little bit of white in the black, but actually it's all just one thing. It's all whole. It's the whole. So we have to see it as the whole, and we have to see it as the whole as the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of God.
It's kind of like what we were talking about with dimensions, not being able to see from one dimension to the next, and it's a difficult task. It's awareness and awakening is what it amounts to. If you stop and think about it, it takes time. Sometimes it takes a lifetime, to be able to absorb all of that, and then there are other people you meet.
Many lifetimes.
Yeah, and then there are other people you meet that you go up to them before you even shake their hand and meet them for the first time. You're conscious of that. This is somebody that's
tuned in.
That's tuned in,
turned on.
Yeah,
they're like
they attract people. They have like a magnetic form on their personality, and they just after about 20 seconds, not 5 minutes, not 10 minutes, but about 15 seconds or 10 seconds, this person is somebody you want to be around. This is,
actually, sometimes
they almost have what is called aurora, or they have
aura.
They have an aura.
Yeah. Well, actually, you were mentioning dimensions, and I think it's in science they explain that everything is vibrating at different frequencies.
Yes, that's right.
As this light
law of
is vibrating at different frequencies.
I need to change that light bulb. So I stop changing
it. So someone who's on a much more refined level of consciousness and more connected in their spiritual realization with Krishna, with the Godhead, then they're vibrating at a completely different frequency. So when your frequency comes in contact with theirs, now sometimes we meet people that our frequencies kind of, what they call in music, flamming. That's right, when the beat, and especially you get it when playing acoustic guitar. Acoustic guitars are notorious for flamming, which means that the rhythms kind of go against one another, and it makes so sometimes you meet people and you just flam. You don't. It's like a hitting of each other. But when you meet people who are advanced, usually you just harmonize with that frequency, and you feel your own frequency. I think I was explaining that when Shukadeva Goswami, the speaker of the Bhagavatam, it's described when he entered the assembly. Now he was only a 16-year-old boy. and there were so many sages and sadhus who had gathered, and many of them even hundreds of years older than him.
Right.
But everyone that had gathered, they felt their inner life air rise, and they rose.
Was this in the forest, or was this at the...
This was on the bank of the Ganges.
Bank of Ganges, okay.
And they all felt that life air rise within them, because when an exalted person comes, then you feel that, call to attention. There's a thing when the Queen or the President or someone enters, you stand to show appreciation. But it's not that you should have to think about it. Their quality of vibration, their quality of knowledge, and their quality of life should be so elevated that you naturally feel a call to respect, because your life air rises, and you feel like that in their presence. Anyway, I'm really rambling on.
No, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. He's a better rambler than I am. I kind of, he flows, I go bumps and.
You light the fire, and I'm fanning the spark.
and you couldn't do it without you, because my English is un poco malo ahora.
All the Spanish viewers out there. You still speak fluent Spanish? Pretty fluent?
Yeah, pretty. And there are some words, I do it with Spanish as well, but it's easier to remember, because there's not that, there's not these...
Not that many.
The words are all... There's 5 vowels. That's it. In English, I don't know how many vowels there are, and there are words that have distinct meanings, whereas in English,
one word can have so many meanings.
There's like 2 or 3 words for the same thing, or else there's words that sound the same and they mean different things. Doesn't affect you until you get a week away from being 80 years old. Okay.
I think maybe we could take a little break there.
Okay, let's do that. Okay. That's fine. That's
but maybe what we'll do is we'll continue our readings.
Sure.
And whenever you see me reading with Michael, we'll probably be going through this chapter.
Yeah.
And when you see me with Baba, we'll be reading the 3rd canto. So you'll simultaneously be starting the Bhagavatam and kind of getting the microcosm overview of the knowledge. Because this chapter is called...
this is
Jnana Yoga.
Exactly. Now, Jnana.
Now, for those of us, in English as a first language, or even if it's your second language, you never see a J and an N together without a vowel. But it's Gya. So it's Jnana Yoga.
Jnana Yoga. See,
Jnana.
Okay. Jnana. Okay. That's one of the drawbacks I have, is I have no one like Jai around to tell me the pronunciation. I did have Giri at the temple, but I can't. When we go down there, we're in a group of people, so I
can't ask him every single question.
No.
So a lot of people will say Jnana Yoga.
Yeah, Jnana. Yeah, that would be my
Jnana.
That's the English. English, and it's like trying to speak Spanish.
Although in the back of the book, let me just see that.
Yeah, the back of the book, it tells you the pronunciation.
For everyone also at home, the pronunciation guide is always there in the back. And I often tell the story how once I met this guy on the street, and he was really intrigued by the Sanskrit, and I showed him this pronunciation guide, and he went on to study Sanskrit, and I think he got eventually a PhD in Sanskrit.
That is wonderful.
So here we see that, you can see that the N with a dot under it is like the N in sing.
Okay.
Sing. But I thought it actually would say when a J and an N are together, but I guess you can't really pronounce that. But so you would say, here's a J, as in joy.
Yeah.
And then this, here it is, that's the one. The N with a little squiggle over it is like the N in Anyan. And then J is like joy. But it's actually a little different from that. But it's Gyan. Jna is, where is that?
Right up here.
Yeah. Jnana.
With the swivel mark on front.
Jana.
I'm beginning
Jana,
to think that,
but it's Gyan.
that Sanskrit is, the modern day English is kind of like Sanskrit.
Okay, so we'll conclude here. Thank you all very much for your kind attention. Please keep tuning in to Bhagavatam Bites. And if you have any comments or any questions, then please stick them down in the comments section. And if don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.